Hello again, friends. I've been messing around with the new variation of Judgment that uses Legend World mechanics to bring out Judgment in a whole new way. Typically, for a Judgment build like this, you would try and run as many Destruction and as many defense cards as you can, which is what Thunder of Zeus and Holy Grail are accomplishing there. Same with Shield of Achilles and Ansel's Damage Rebound. We don't actually use Ansel's Damage Rebound, we just keep it in the deck because it's a card that we can charge because it has an attribute that we need. For everything else, this deck has a different focus than the standard Judgment deck. Instead of just biding your time and waiting and trying to get the drop zone that you need, we tend to play our Judgments a little bit earlier before we have all of the attributes that we need set up. And the primary reason we do this is because, one, Legend World's defense sucks. I mean, there's no two ways around it. Legend World can't last very long, even with all of the cards that I'm putting in here that happen to have defense in the attribute. The second reason is because we're going to be calling many Judgments, even if we only see one. And the reason for that is that we're going to be using a combination of Gleipnir, Brethengard, and Actor Knight's Judgment itself to get out a Judgment with a Brethengard. Now, you might be thinking, Tim, but you can't attack with it. That's the whole reason why we're not using it with Fenrir. But I'm here to tell you that that is not the extensive purpose of this deck. This deck's design is not necessarily to destroy your opponent's cards during your turn like the rest of the Judgment decks are. Because of how Brethengard is a counterspell, you can actually play Gleipnir, put a Judgment in Soul, and then cast Brethengard in response to something on your opponent's turn to bring out Judgment, and then get all of those effects, the life gain, the card draw, and the destruction during your opponent's turn, preferably during their combat phase. You can see that I already got out a Judgment, so I went and I took a game that was so far behind in card advantage for me, and I already turned it back around. And then I played another one. So now they're probably already going to lose. If this was Darkness Dragon World, this wouldn't have even been a competition. They would have already long since lost this game. However, that is not the case. I am playing Legend World, and I have like 3 dead cards in my hand, 4 dead cards in my hand. But I digress. I drew a second Gleipnir. I'm going to play it, toss another Judgment into Soul. And now I am set up to do shenanigans whenever I want, wherever I want, however I want. It's my opponent's turn. He's going to call 2 cards, and he's going to declare combat and try and kill mine. And then this is where it comes in. You play Brethengard, you destroy your own Gleipnir. You destroy 2 cards, you gain a bunch of life, and now your opponent feels really bad. I think my opponent may or may not have had a defensive card in hand, but they decided to let themselves die anyway because of how much card advantage they lost and how much I gained and how the shenanigans still were not over, because next turn I could have Brethengard and gotten out another Judgment. So that's about how the deck works. It's actually significantly more budget than the Darkness Dragon World variation, and I think it's actually kind of a little bit more fun, but that probably comes with how inconsistent it is, but how much more potency it packs when it actually does go off. Again, the original Darkness Dragon World Judgment deck is still better, but this is still an option.